came, I had to teach them what sacrificing the son mean. You could go on their videos, right? And you can hear all these people came in or whatever like that. And once they start talking about Abraham, they talking about it like it's history. Abraham actually sacrificed the son. No, it's an allegory. This is what sacrificing the son mean. It's an occult book. It's a Jewish allegory to giving your gifts, your talents. That's your baby. That's why you always going to see a baby in front of a lion. Or if you're into Catholicism, a baby with wings is more powerful than the men angels. Because it's the birth of a new idea. So you want to stay in your baby thoughts. This is how you stay creative. When you stay in your adult thoughts, it becomes demonic because you start to worry on how things to get done. But a baby thought, you can have an imagination and have more faith of going about it without so much calculation. So this is the esoteric astrology that they're into, being Jewish philosophers. But look, check this out. Sacrificing a son is a Jewish allegory to giving your gifts and talents away for riches and willing to be used for it, aka exchanging your gifts for crumbs, aka you could be bought and sold, which shows an invalid morality in your brain that the Jews deem as evil. So anytime you get a gift and talent and you don't create a basketball league and your gift and talent is you trying to be in the basketball league, then this is you being a low-hanging fruit. Now, to the sheep that idolize you, you might be somebody like, oh, that's Michael Jordan. Oh, that's the shit. But to the Jewish person mind, which is a fashion in government, that's one of their most precious stones. That's one of their most precious Muppet babies. That's one of their most precious images. That's one of their, that they could throw out as a lichen. That's one of their most precious mascots. So instead of you coming up with a new talent and building a whole new sport, you go out and work slave and sheep and go to college to be Michael Jordan. See what I'm saying? And the way Michael Jordan live is to uphold his money. So the things he have to go through to uphold his money is actually a speculative Jewish witchcraft behind closed doors as building a character, aka live this way, and this is how you consider what it means to be good to live, right? And based upon Michael Jordan being an influencer, he can get the masses to live like him to reach where he at, while the Jew, a fashion and government, can sit back and be like, this is us hitting multiple birds with one stone, aka having the world live in our virtues and principles in the many different witchcraft fashions we got it in: business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. If you don't got that kind of mentality, you have no business going around talking about you the real Jew. And out the very same breath, you talk about you the real Jew because you want some liberation and shit. You miss the occult practice of how that story is constructed and crafted. You missed the whole point. You taking it as a history book, and since you actually went through these things, because of these narratives they created to show you if you was to do these things, this actually happened to you. You being the sheep and slave-minded and coming from the bloodline of the sheep, you're looking at it in a whole wrong context, which makes it even worse. You get it? It's like, let's say we sat back and created an idea, and let's say one of these ideas as a virtue and principle we put in there, if we act out this line of reasoning and this train of thought, it'll lead into destruction. So we gonna never do that. Then let's say we start creating stories and stuff of entertainment on that role playing out, right? So, and this is how we run the world, by not doing that. So we got it in these books and shit. Let's say 2,000 years later, right? You got a group of individuals claiming that that the book is talking about them and they actually went through these things. Here's the thing. This is how you can make it make sense, but this will still makes you retarded. Yeah, the book is talking about you. That's why you can say you was God chosen people and you was to be cursed and shit like that. But you missed the point. It's talking about you now, no matter what race you is. Soon as you are a person who don't use your mind and you need their system, business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics to build your community, so you're crying about liberation and respiration, yeah, you are the real Jews. In that aspect, you're the real concept that these real people, before they call it Jews, of fashion and government, you're the real people that these people came up with in their mind as anybody, no matter the race, Anybody who got this train of thought, line of reasoning, this is what they experience in their community. The moment y'all started to act that way and then needed to get rude and shit like that, okay, you became the people that they was talking about morally. It's not saying that they're talking about you and you as in rulership. You get it? See, this is how y'all get confused by the Bible. You don't know how to read it. You don't know how to read it because you get the witchcraft practice on you. So it's saying what you think it's saying, just not how you think it's saying it. It's saying what you're saying because y'all still those people. See what I'm saying? So for the most part, at this point, the reason why it's anti-Semitism, because they're looking at it as an aspect that the moment you already got liberation and crumbs in the world, you can't go say you the real Jews in your aspect of talking about it. The way you talking about it, you didn't create that property. You didn't create that intellectual property. And you're actually playing out the title, it's a book of titles, the title that word means. Same way, it's like this. Same way you can use this argument. If I tell a theologian right now, God inspired me to write a Bible, do you believe me? Soon as a Christian say, no, I don't believe you, they're a Pharisee. Now, they could go somewhere and argue all they want about them being a Christian and this what it means to be a Pharisee, and people back in the day didn't believe in Jesus, so there was a Pharisee, but they don't understand how the book don't mean it like that in history. It mean it that whoever playing out these characteristic traits, you see the fruit that they bear. A person who wouldn't believe anyone who came and told them that they was God in the flesh. So this is who the Jews would reprobate also. Would deem as evil also. This is why the Jews look at Christians as stupid. You get it? You have to understand the book like an occult book. Thank you so much for the donation, ISM and Bank Knots. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And AAA Raphael, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real shit. When you see it from the right starting point, and I deeply appreciate that. When you see it from the right start, and y'all hit that like button too, that like button, so this could be in the algorithm. When you see things the right way, you're able to see it in all things. You won't be able to fight scripture with scripture no more because it's gonna make too much sense. You see what I'm saying? When you read it the right way. For an example, every time you hear the term man or any man name, that means thought, masculine energy. Anytime you see a woman name, it means the emotion, the feminine energy. So before you get lost into the anthropomorphized concept of it, of the people who made the language to try to convey the hieroglyphics to you, to know what it means, don't be a sheep-minded and think that it's talking about something else. So when you understand it from that aspect, now when you take away the history of it and look at it like an occult book, now it makes sense why a man can live 300 years, 900 years, and you ain't got to argue for it. Now you know why a man can walk on water. Because you're understanding it from the occult practice. You can't use the word white and black, and since you're Western Hemisphere, Jesuit intellect, knowledge, Greek ghostwriter out right now, you see the word black and white and think it's talking about race. But then you would take an occult book from the very same time and see black and white in it and hear it being explained as motherfucker light magic or dark magic using the emotion, white magic using the logic. So you can't take a book, another occult book that was written in that time, and then take it based on your bias and try to make it mean something because you're Western Hemisphere Greeks ghostwriter out right now. So since we're calling people white people and black people now, you're conflating these words that come from an occult mind state back then with what you think it means now. And this is how you get people claiming they're the real Jews or real Hebrew Israelites. Retarded. You have no occult knowledge. And then when you do dive into occult knowledge, you separate it from your bias because the Jesuits already got you. They already got you. You're retarded. Now look, check this out. But you got to keep that in mind. It's a practice. The Bible is an occult book. So now you don't have to fight scripture with scripture. You know what you're looking at. Anytime there's a woman involved and a man fall, okay, you understand it now. Anytime you're too emotional about a thought form, you're going to crash. You know Babylon is an eternal building. And we can't agree on no terms and conditions, we can't build together. Ain't got nothing to do with the physical language. See what I'm saying? So now you're starting to understand it. So when you get into these terms like wrestling, Jacob, this is the Jews creating a stage as a storyline so people can see the outcome of something before actually going through with something. And this is their new witchcraft way of building character without you thinking they're building your character. So your mind getting raised through cartoons. Your mind getting raised through all their UFOs, all their global magic wands and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? So your mind is structured in a certain way to look at the world. And then since it's their way, they can fulfill it with any new knowledge that they're arguing amongst each other with, if you understand the Talmud. So sacrificing the son is a Jewish allegory to giving your gifts and talents away for riches and willing to be used. So the son will be your idea. And if you're willing to sell your idea like Kanye West, then for the most part, you're doing a spiritual deem of evil in the Jewish person's mind. So you shall not come out your mouth and say you the real Jew, where you're playing out the role of what the Jews created to influence the masses. You get it? So the jailman knowledge may come up with, oh, they're trying to cancel Kyrie Irving. They're trying to cancel Kanye West because they don't want us to know the real truth. No, it ain't got nothing to do with you knowing about nothing. They feel disrespected because how can this low-hanging fruit talk about they the real anything and they plan out what we created? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this puppet talking about? You continue being a sheep. Stop confusing people. And that's how they look at it. They look at it like it's confusing people. Just because you confuse, you don't get to confuse others. Now, here's the thing. The tribe of Jacob. The tribe of Jacob are just individuals, not a tribe. I'm talking about who made up this concept. Individuals who know how to wrestle with these thoughts, with these thought patterns, to not allow their gifts to be bought or abused. And Jacob is just the name that they gave that line of reasoning. So anytime you're wrestling with your gifts and talents to be taken advantage of or not, and the moment you be like, I'm not for sale. They call that train of thought, they call that line of reasoning Jacob. This is how you could take something from Jerusalem, the heart chakra, the heart space, and put it in Israel, your temple. Make that thought lighter so you don't be depressed about you wanting the outcome from a goal. You see what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, every superhero, everything is Masonic, and every cartoon, all of it is Masonic Jewish shit. They work together as a team. Jesuits, Masons, and Jews, and they got a whole bunch of subsidiaries. And this is what makes them the 360-degree Mason. So look at it like this. The Jesuit is the intellect. The Jewish is the literature. So these are the philosophers. And the Masons are the ones that bring them both together. The speculative and the operative. So they built the little Greek, Roman, Jewish conglomeration type shit. And through these, they have subsidiaries. And the subsidiaries is like what makes the practice. So they're all going on a practice. And this practice is them, it's like a global cipher because they're bringing their universal Jerusalem down here. So it's like a global cipher to a certain degree, right? And here's the thing. Each portion of the cipher is a specific week out of the year. Because remember, they deify each transition of the sun. And each week out of the year, they all fulfill that pack, Mount Hermes pack. With hermeneutics and hermeneutics and shit like that. That's what the knowledge of it is. And when they create that little pack, right, for the most part, each fashion is what all of them come together on that UN conglomerate to control the world. So the tribe of Judah would just be like a few weeks on the Jewish calendar of a portion of government. But remember, government was religion. It still is. It's still slavery. It's the same way. It's always been the same way. All these extravagant stories is like made up. It's how it is now. We are in Egypt. We are in Babylon. We are in Rome. It's just update. We've been got rocked to sleep by the cuneiform, then the hieroglyphics, then the other shit. Just as well as they put their flags and make everybody up under their subsidiary shit. That's what you need to be looking at everywhere you see a pyramid. It ain't different countries or different geographical locations just getting messages from one God. That's a Jesuit Abrahamic concept they gave y'all as another world, one world government that they got y'all mentally first. But what it is just these groups of motherfuckers taking over each land, and now they run the whole world. And I mean the whole world. Literally. Or it will be no such thing as them even having the mathematical calculation of it being such and such billions of people in the world. These motherfuckers run the whole world. Not a little bit, not a piece. If you lost in that little bit or the piece, you lost in the puppeteers. You're lost in the Muppet Babies, the mascots. When I say run the whole world, yeah, the whole world, nigga. Now look, check this out. If you a human, you don't know how to construct your life. They already created a foundation and a system for you to. Now, and this live stream is this a subsidiary of government. We're talking about just the Tribe of Judah version. That esoteric astrology, not zeitgeist. That's why y'all always hear me say zeitgeist is wrong and all. That shit is after they trying to teach y'all. They're not going to give y'all all the secrets because none of y'all got occult practices. So y'all don't understand how to use these things for yourself, nor do they want you to, because putting power in the hands of a sheep mind won't do nothing but create competition. So I'm just giving y'all it as is. But they ain't going to worry about me because they already know what I'm surrounded by. They know I'm surrounded by Hebrew Israelites, Kemet, Christians, low-hanging fruit. They know I ain't going to get nowhere far. So I'm the least of their worries. Yeah. Shit. The tribe of Jacob are just individuals who know how to wrestle with these thoughts of not selling themselves. Right? So that's the thought that they call Jacob. And that's the tribe of Jacob. Those who do that no matter what. Now the covenant with Abraham is to agree with the knowledge, right? To agree with the knowledge based or to agree with that knowledge based group no matter what. So no matter what, you will never sell your soul. That's the covenant of Abraham. The people who came up with that concept. We'll never sell our soul. So any individuals that do, they're not up under the covenant. So if you're paid just to be a preacher, you sold your soul. You sold the ability that your spirit has. They put your spirit in a chamber, a jail cell, and when you come up with a thought and an emotion and bring it together as a mentality, right, which is your energy, it only consists of what they wanted you to pay attention to, aka business, entertainment, education, politics, or religion. So therefore, you sold your soul. And you victimized yourself. And you looking at Jesus like it's a Messiah or something that's God that's walked the earth where we know it's a mind state. So this what makes you very low-hanging fruit. This all Christians going to hell. So the covenant with Abraham is to agree with the knowledge-based group no matter what. Circumcision. Circumcision is shedding skin, aka sin. So when you sell yourself, that's a sin. When you shed from them attributes and you wrestle with God, that's actually circumcision. Now they always doing as above, so below. So below, they might cut off a little bit of extra skin off your dick or pussy. So Judaism is a part of government as a light or idea they uphold because the witchcraft have been working for the past 4,000 years. That's it. That's it. So this is why you ain't gonna never find a real Jew, an actual race that's Jews, and your way of arguing it is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because even your way of arguing it is some dumb argument. I'm on live. Hold on. Yeah. So, for the most part, yay. So yeah, that's what you gotta understand this motherfucker shit. They created the whole goddamn concept, and none of y'all live, and the highest way y'all could think is trying to live like them. So for the most part, this y'all forever on the top bunk. That's how they look at it. Y'all forever on the goddamn top bunk or some goddamn shit because of y'all way of life. And they just created another. If you could come here and create another way of life, you'll be part of the government. That's how they look at it. They don't look at it like how y'all crying and y'all get something against y'all in some way, shape, or form. They don't look at it like that. They look at it like if you got some product, you'll be a part of the government in some way. And if you can't reach that status, that ain't their fault. That's how they look at it. They don't look at it like the sheep mind. That's why these people arguments don't go nowhere. They've been arguing for the past 40 years, the past 50 years, the past 30 years. All these cats on the internet been arguing for the past 40 years and shit like that about nonsense. Yeah, shout out to Melody. Their way of arguing is stupid. They don't even they got jailman concepts. So their way to even receive knowledge is just to want to be okay as a people. So their mind not even nowhere real. They just like totally in sheep mind. All their ideas is derived from, I just want our people to be all right. All their ideas come from that. They don't got no occult thinking. They don't have no nuts. So all they know how to do is read a book to try to figure out a bias on how to make it make sense on why our people need to be all right. And then when we say our people, that's very vague. Very vague. Because you barely have a family after 300 years. The family prior to 300 years from that ain't really technically your family. Because I know, look, me right now, I'm not gonna give a shit about my great grandkid, nieces and nephews. Because you got to make sense out of shit. I got a daughter, right? So if she start having kids, automatically, that's some little nigga, or homie cheese, homie slice, or walking talking or something. Down, got shit to do with that no more. So at some point, that child gonna have a child. That child gonna have a child. That child gonna have a child. I don't give a fuck about who talking about they part of my bloodline. Bitch, you ain't part of, you little ass nigga, homie cheese, homie slice. You wasn't part of my civilization. You wasn't part of shit. And I didn't live in your time. And goddamn it, hopefully your great auntie was wiping my ass before I died. Other than that, that's it. How y'all be claiming some 2,000 year shit? This shit, it might have not even been your goddamn race. Y'all mutts. Y'all made after Arabs like a few hundred years ago. But back then, that wasn't even y'all goddamn race. How's y'all claiming some shit because y'all lost in words? You can't even use black. You can't use words like white. It didn't mean that back then. So when you hear things like dark land, it probably didn't even mean people being dark, but it could mean that, because it's like Sumerian. It's when it's motherfucking like goddamn it dark and everything. The sun is like summertime. So for the most part, everybody up under that heat and shit like that at the same motherfucking time and shit. Yeah, goddamn it, all our motherfucking skins and shit like that might be darker or whatever like that. So it don't matter what the fucking race is and shit like that. But for the most part, at the same motherfucking time, that don't mean you get to claim and say that's everybody's same race or some goddamn shit. What? That don't even make no goddamn sense. You know what I'm saying? That don't make no goddamn sense. It could have been any goddamn race over there in that motherfucker shit. And right now, we see who's still running that shit based upon oral tradition in this motherfucker shit. So keep that in mind. So it's all about motherfucker occult practices. So if you don't look at that shit like an occult motherfucking practice, don't read that motherfucker book. Don't get into that goddamn shit. You just gonna have that shit being practiced on you. And then when it comes into the aspect of knowing what's real and what's not, you might turn into a master of He-Mans of the universe of exaggerations and shit like that. So keep that in motherfucking mind. Masters at over exaggerations and start overthinking shit and overanalyzing, and it ain't had nothing to do with none of that shit. And the reason why they can delete people shit and things of that nature who speak out Jewish sentimentism and stuff like that, they can only do that if you're part of the entertainment fashion, because that's the part that they run. They run the entertainment fashion. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, anytime you're an entertainer, you're already something that they fashion. And the moment that you come out your mouth and speak about Jewish energy and things of that nature, this what makes it anti-Semitic or whatever like that. Because it's a fashion of government. And it's your way of business. So how you gonna say you the real something you don't even know what you're talking about in some way, shape, or form? That's like disrespectful. Because the whole business is ran by them. They created that. It's a fashion of government. Entertainment is a fashion of government. The Jews created that from the tribe of Judah, which is a lion teaching, a Leo teaching. We're lying too, but it's a Leo teaching, aka on how to build character or how to express a character or create a stage. Create a stage for characters to be expressed on in some way, shape, or form. Real shit. So you got to keep that in motherfucking mind. Oh, shit, it's bright ass goddamn glare.